I'd like to take a moment now to go over all the different sleeping-related items for an American soldier during World War II. The American soldier was issued with one blanket. See right here. He was also issued with half of a tent, with the poles and the pegs for half of the tent. The tent and the blanket would have been attached to the bottom of this pack and this piece right here. So what you did is you rolled your blanket and you rolled part of the tent with the tent poles and pegs into the bottom part of this pack. So you and your buddy then got together. It's time to go to bed. You're outside. You buttoned your tent together. You put it up, and then you put your blankets inside, and then you went to bed. Most cases, if you were back what was called garrison, or if you were out in the field, that means you're outdoors. In some cases, they had these very large tents. They were called a general purpose tent. You would have been fortunate to have this. So obviously, it's a cot made of wood. Obviously, heavy duck canvas. This particular cot was manufactured in St. Louis, Missouri in 1944. As you can see, it folds. I don't have the end pieces attached. The reason being is that even though the canvas is in really good shape, it's just about 75 years old and I don't want to stretch it and rip it. So, let's come down here and go over the sleeping bags. So it was determined by 1940 that sleeping on the ground on a blanket wasn't really a good idea. So the Army came up with a sleeping bag, and it was literally a rectangular piece of cotton, had a cover on it, and you were expected to put your two blankets into it. They found that really quick that it didn't really work. So by 1944, the Army decided to go ahead and go with a sleeping bag. You recognize it. The weight of the wool is the same as the blankets. As a matter of fact, it's double the width, 2 blankets. It's as warm as 2 blankets. It had a zipper that you opened from the inside. There would have been optionally some ties here so that if you wanted to, you could secure it. Had a cotton cover. There were 2 little holes here at the top so that when you put this wool bag into this cotton cover, it attached the top. As you can see on the bottom, there's some ties, so that when you're finished with it, you folded it up, rolled it as tight as you can, you tied it, put it in your cotton bag, and you also had 2 ties on the bottom. Here's an example of the sleeping bag, the second pattern. That's all put together. So, once again, you can see the cotton liner. You can see where it has some strings that are attached to it to keep it together. Once again, you have the zipper. It opens from the inside of the sleeping bag. This particular one was made in February 1945. One of the distinctive things about the sleeping bag was that during the Battle of Bulge, between December 1944 and February 1945, it was not uncommon, if you were lucky and you were able to get to one of these, what the American soldier would do is they cut this part up here and over here on the bag. In some cases they cut it at the waist or they slit it. And what they did is they think of a pair of long johns. They would actually step into it as an additional layer of warmth. If you look at some of the photographs of American soldiers in the Battle of the Bulge, you will notice that they have underneath their helmet a heavy, like a wool covering. It almost looks like a shawl. It's actually the tops of these wool sleeping bags. I don't have much officer items because my interest is enlisted personnel. I do have a couple of shirts, but there is an item that I'd like to set up on the cot that I think is really neat that was issued for officers. So let me break all this down and let me pull that out and give a quick explanation on that.